Hello, everybody. It's Astrologer Dawn and Catherine Young back again with Why Now? What's going on right now, astrologically, as well as what's actually going on. We want to show you how we combine it all together. You had something to say about that, Catherine?
Well, just a reminder or a recap of what we talked about last time, the age of Aquarius, Pluto moving into Aquarius, and looking at different events worldwide and local, global, national, and why those headlines would be making news if there's any relationship to the Pluto and Aquarius or Uranus and Aquarius that activate change, because Pluto and Uranus that rule Scorpio and Aquarius are all about change.
Yeah,
And as we
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah,
we're in a period of upheaval.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
looking at charts and talking about events and people and relating it through an astrological lens.
So we decided to look at Zoran Mamdani because I think that was in the world of what we've seen in terms of politics. I guess it was a bit of a surprise for people. And by the way, this has nothing to do with either of mine or Catherine's political beliefs, whether it's a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent. It's just what was a surprise. And when we looked at his chart, shall I pull up his chart?
Yes.
Okay,
We
share.
pleasantly discovered.
Yes, we pleasantly discovered. Is this his chart? Yes. So his moon is in Aquarius.
And we're talking about Zoran,
Yep,
who
Mamdani, who
won
is
the
he's going to be the new mayor of New York.
New
Yes,
York City.
a millennial, which is, that's kind of interesting because there are getting to be more millennials and some Gen Zs as well that are, looking at doing whatever it is they need to do to shape the country. I guess
Well,
that's the
more of
best way
them
of putting it.
voting for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
So
So,
here's a picture of his chart, and our
yeah,
pleasant surprise was his moon and Saturn in Aquarius.
yeah, very interesting. We have his time of birth as well. So, this is an accurate chart. So, right now, with Saturn, obstacles and challenges you're here to overcome, but also rules and structures, definitely traditional ones. His is in Aquarius, so he wouldn't particularly like traditional structures anyway. Um,
Or
you know,
nothing conventional.
nothing conventional. And it being in the seventh house, I also heard that his transition team are all women, not one man in sight. They're all
Oh,
women.
interesting.
Yeah, so I thought
Well,
that was
that
interesting.
could relate to the moon in the seventh house. The moon
And
rules women.
his Saturn in the seventh house because he's bucking the rules, which is, well, I don't know. Obviously, in the past, it's been mostly men that do transition stuff with a few women sprinkled in. But again, oh, that's a change. That's something different. So
Yes.
that's really the theme of the Aquarius energy is, oh, that's something different. That's not something we've seen before. Um, when
Well, there are
Go ahead.
certain phrases and key words for Aquarius and change. And Dawn and I looked at his acceptance speech and
Yes.
looked at the sentences and paragraphs and phrases and how they were laden with what we would call Aquarian vocabulary.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to point out that even in his acceptance speech, that Aquarius theme is very present.
Yeah. And some of it is going from Capricorn to Aquarius because we're very early on in Pluto and Aquarius. And so we've still got some of that Capricorn energy that was there for 20 years themselves. And so, when he says something like we have toppled a political dynasty, well, political dynasty is usually a
The
Capricorn thing,
Capricorn. Mhm.
and so
And he says, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity, humanity being
yes,
the Aquarius,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Aquarius phrase. And he says, New York tonight, you have delivered a mandate for change. That's
Mm,
very much an Aquarian statement.
yeah,
We
yeah,
will
yeah.
fight for you because we are you, very Aquarian, for
And
the people.
he did something very different. He had over 100,000 volunteers, which is actually quite a lot of volunteers to be door knocking. A lot of younger people. Again,
Well, he talked about the
Aquarius.
people, and he said something about it's about people like Richard, the taxi driver I went on a 15-day hunger strike with outside of City Hall. Isn't a hunger strike an Aquarian
Oh
protest?
yes. Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, I love that some of the things that he's moving from that Capricorn
Yes.
energy, and the Capricorn energy is establishment energy, um,
And conventional,
and conventional. So
traditional.
like, and so who ran as well? Andrew Cuomo and
Yes.
somebody else ran as well. I don't remember who it was, but he would be considered traditional,
Yes.
and so he was running what was considered a traditional campaign, and so it's really more about, that
The
the
shift of the
shift.
dynamic.
Yeah, because
Well,
the other thing is Capricorn energy believes that everything's a zero-sum game. There's a winner and a loser, but Aquarius doesn't believe that. They believe there's enough for everybody and everybody can win, because
it's
it's
a
about humanity.
And
So
we're all in this
moving.
together.
Yeah.
One of the statements in his acceptance speech that jumped out at me in terms of being Aquarius was the part about more than 1 million of us stood in our churches, in gymnasiums, in community centers as we filled in the ledger of democracy.
Yeah.
So gymnasiums and community centers and churches, those are all communities. Those are all community.
Tribes. The
Uh,
tribes that I keep telling you
yes,
all, guys, that I send this out to who's your tribe? What
yes.
is your secret? Like Catherine says, what is your secret sauce, and which table are you going to serve it at? Which is your tribe, finding your tribe. So that is Aquarius energy. So whoever wrote it, because he wouldn't have written his own, I doubt whether he would have written his own speech. They may or may not have known, or they wouldn't have realized it necessarily, that they were doing Capricorn and Aquarius sentences in it, moving from Capricorn to Aquarius. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well.
Well, it
Um,
says, after all, the conventional wisdom would tell you that I am far from the perfect
yeah,
candidate.
yeah,
Conventional wisdom being Capricorn. And yet, if tonight teaches us anything, it's that convention has held us back. So it's all about that transition you're talking
yeah.
about from Capricorn to Aquarius. And if I remember correctly, in his chart, he's got some Capricorn as well. So he's
Yeah, his Uranus and his Neptune are in Capricorn.
Yeah, so he's a perfect candidate to juxtaposition those two and help us move from that conventional wisdom of Capricorn
Mm-hmm.
into the Aquarius
Well,
of community and collaboration.
yeah, they've done this in like Dancing with the Stars, and also in England, the Strictly Come Dancing, which is the original one, which I'm watching right now. What they realized is they were losing audience, especially the younger audience. So what they did is they started to include influencers dancing, people who have huge TikTok presence or YouTube channel presence, and that has brought younger people back into the fold of watching something like Dancing with the Stars. We just had Celebrity Traitors UK, which had more viewers, and certainly in that age range, which are very much Aquarians, they've come back to the three generations of watching TV together, the younger, the parents and the grandparents, which is a big thing in England because we're very community oriented in England, and it's small, so you can be more community oriented than the United States, which is extremely large. But it's very interesting because they've had to change. Their structure was normally famous people that had been on the TV or been in movies, or musicians, or in America, I guess you have baseball players and those kind of sports people. I don't know that we had that in the English one, but it's been very interesting to see how they're shaping shows to include Gen Z, because otherwise Gen Z is just looking online. So the old establishment has to come up with new ways,
Adapt.
adapt. And
Yeah.
so that's exactly what they've done with Dancing with the Stars and Strictly Come Dancing. I'm sure that's gone to all of them that are around the world, because it's like, if you want to capture the young generation, you got to put the younger generation on there and the way that they see them. Some of them may only be experiencing these people through TikTok or through their YouTube channel. from what they're saying. So it's been really good and very interesting.
And
Yeah.
again, as you point out, we're really just at the very, very
Oh yeah.
beginning of this. We've got 20 years of approximately of Pluto and Aquarius.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're just beginning to see the, as he said, the dawn of a new age.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is I was looking at Aquarius states first. So Arizona, where Catherine and I live, is an Aquarius state. And what makes it an Aquarius state is it was incorporated with when the sun was in Aquarius. So it was
It was admitted to the Union. It became an
yes,
actual state on February 14th, 1912.
yeah. You
So
probably know
that's what
about the
makes
history of
it.
this country than I do, but yeah, that's
And
what makes it an Aquarius state.
And amazingly, we were able to find the time that it was admitted was, which is
Yeah.
10:23 a.m. So we could run a chart.
Oh yes, we
And
could.
we wanted to show you the chart of Arizona, again, as an explanation for why some of the headline news that Dawn and I see locally becomes national news,
Can you
part
see?
of
Oh,
this Aquarius movement as well.
yeah. Let me just share this. This is all new to me, guys. Bear with me. Okay, and there it is. So
Okay.
yeah, as you can see, look at my pointer. This is the
Yeah.
sun. It's in Aquarius. This is the Arizona chart. And then it also has Mercury, which is this sign here, also in Aquarius. So, if you think about it, I mean, the way that this state goes up and down, certainly politically, changes from Republican to Democrat to Republican to, it's got this fluidity to it.
Well, we
Um,
also see Uranus is
yeah,
at 0 degrees. So
yeah,
again, out in the sky, it's getting massaged by Pluto. That's now at 1 degree Aquarius. And
yeah,
again, would be bringing news from Arizona into a
yes,
broader audience.
yes, yes, yes.
So this
Yeah,
week, what did we
yeah, I was going to
notice in the news
say,
in Arizona?
yeah, I was going to say, we've got a couple of things going on. Let me just stop sharing this so we can talk about it. Three different things: Adelita Grijalva, the Vale School District, and the ballots in Maricopa County. So,
Let's talk
which one
about
do
Adelita because that
good?
goes back to September when she was first elected after her father passed away. She ran
Yes,
and was elected in a special election. I think it was September 23rd. Is that correct?
yes,
And
yeah.
yet she has yet to be sworn in.
So,
So we wanted to look at her chart and see why is she in the news now
yeah,
and see
because
if there's any Aquarius energy or Pluto, which rules Scorpio, that's bringing about, again, change. And again, we were pleasantly shocked
yeah,
to
yeah,
see, in a chart that you have planets that can be dispersed in 12 houses.
we,
We found 6 of hers that were all in Scorpio,
yeah. Let me
ruled
just
by
share
Pluto.
this. Let me
So
share.
once again, we have someone who's at the very beginning of
Oh,
significant change.
that's not right, is it? Adelita, Libra. I can't see the date. It should be 10/30/70, isn't it?
Yes.
Ah, that's why it's the wrong one. That's the right one. Okay, so do you see it?
Yes.
All that
Yes. So now
Scorpio.
you can see all of her
Whoa.
planets all grouped up there at the top of the chart.
This is the
Sun
sign
in
for Scorpio. Yeah.
Scorpio, Moon in Scorpio, Mercury in Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio, Jupiter in Scorpio, Neptune in Scorpio.
Yeah. It's
And
very
again,
interesting.
Pluto rules Scorpio. And what we're talking about is Pluto and Aquarius jump starting all of this massive change. So
Yeah.
here's an individual who embodies the Scorpio change in 60% of her hardwiring, I call it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I think that's what we call it. Yeah, she's you know, it's also a sting in the tail with her, so people better not cross her
Right. Scorpio.
because she'll
Scorpio
remember.
packs a punch. Again,
Yeah,
I joked and we talked about this when the astronomers demoted Pluto to a dwarf
yeah,
planet. Mm,
right. It doesn't matter to us because astronomy is the study of the physicality of the planet. Astrology is the study of the psychology of the planet.
yes.
So they're two different disciplines. They were one and the same up until the Age of Enlightenment, but now they're two different disciplines. And I think it's great that astronomers decide what they want to do with the physicality of the planet, but it does not change the psychology and how important that is, and especially in this day and age.
Well, and it's interesting because they're saying one of the reasons that they haven't sworn her in is because her vote will be the one that releases the
The
Epstein
Epstein
files.
files.
And
Yeah.
of course, the Epstein files all relate to Scorpio energy.
Yeah.
Sex, that's
Yeah.
all, that's
Yeah.
all Pluto and Scorpio. So it'll be
Um,
interesting to see how that unfolds. The other
yeah.
thing you mentioned was the
The
Vail
Vales.
school
And
teachers.
you used to be a math teacher,
I
didn't
was
you?
a math teacher, and who would have ever thought we would have been revolutionary?
Yeah. And tell what that's going on about that, because I
Well,
only just
the
briefly
Vail
read it.
school teachers wore Halloween T-shirts that had the words "problem solved" on the T-shirt, but they also had red that looked like blood. So many people had an objection to it, thinking it was some kind of political statement about the Charlie Kirk assassination. When in fact, these costumes, these t-shirts, had actually been worn even the year before for their Halloween costume. So it was taken out of context and misconstrued. And unfortunately for the math teachers, they ended up with death threats, which again
Wow.
is Scorpio energy,
Yeah,
you
it is,
know?
isn't it?
Yes, and
Well,
it made national news. Again, I think because Arizona has that 0 degrees
yeah.
Aquarius.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Well, and then the third thing, this was yesterday, they
Yeah,
have
day before, I think.
found
Mhm.
2 boxes of ballots from the last election that were not counted. Now
Yeah.
we have no idea what's
How
in those
many?
boxes, how
No.
many, or what's in those boxes. We do not know, but there are two for Maricopa County, which is where Phoenix is,
Yes.
our Aquarius place, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, again, a surprise. That's the thing that we've got to remember with the Aquarius energy. Unexpected, unusual, shocking. You go, oh my goodness. I mean, Catherine told me, oh, did you read the thing about the ballots in Maricopa County? I'm like, what do you mean? They just 2 boxes turned up and they've not been counted. Like, what happens now? We don't know what happens now
Right.
because I
That's
guess
very Aquarian.
that's very Aquarian. And so again, all three of those things, Adelita Grahalva not sworn in when um, other people have been sworn in when the government's been shut down. Yes,
Yes.
she is the final vote for the Epstein files. So there are people out there, from what I understand, that want to see what's in those files. So, and they might be surprised. The Vale School District, the math teachers who were not doing anything to do with anything. And the other thing is, Vale has got to be at least, what, 120 miles away from Phoenix, from Scottsdale, 140 miles away from Scottsdale? Because we
Yeah,
know,
at least.
Adelita is in Tucson. Vale is a little bit further out.
Right.
Catherine and I both used to live in Tucson, but it's so far away from Scottsdale. I just don't see math teachers doing something like that. And like you said, it was something that happened the year before when there was nothing really going on. And then the ballots, it's like, what? What do you mean
Yes.
there's 2 boxes that are uncounted? So what's going to happen now? What does
So
that
now we have to stay
mean?
tuned.
Now we have to stay tuned. So again, it's all that Aquarius energy,
Yes.
you know?
And the question is, what's happening in your personal chart?
Yes.
Are you being personally affected by Uranus or Pluto, either one? Because those are the two major change planets that bring
Yep.
about a request for moving in a new direction. So,
Yes. And so depending upon the house that Pluto in Uranus is moving through,
yes,
will so very quickly, first house is self. And if it's not actually time right now because it's Mercury retrograde, today is the 10th of November 2025. So we're in a Mercury retrograde, so you don't necessarily do this, but usually with the first house, I also see bodily changes. You want to change your haircut, you know, you've got a mole on your back you want to get rid of, or, you know, you're going to get plastic surgery. Normally it's when Venus is retrograde, but I'm always worried when Mercury's retrograde and people go in for operations because the miscommunication that can happen.
Yes.
Anything else about the first house you'd like to add to that?
It's a physical body, can
Yeah,
relate to health as well.
yeah.
Hmm.
And then the second house, if you've got that going through your second house, money, possessions, self-esteem, up or down, honeys.
And values, it may be
Oh yeah,
you have a big shift in your priorities, something that was important before, you've shifted and it's not a priority any longer. You see that sometimes with transits
yeah,
to the second house.
absolutely. Third house, communications, and your local stuff that's going on as well. So communications of all kinds.
Also,
So
brothers and sisters.
yeah. So and
Also,
you,
cars. The only
yeah.
time I ever get flat tires is when Mercury's retrograde.
Oh really? Well, it's like me not being able to find all these different things this morning. I'm getting all frustrated. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, it's Mercury retrograde. What am I? Just chill, Dawn, because there's nothing you can do about Mercury retrograde. And I actually recorded something on the Cayman Island station the other day, and I blah my words, which I don't normally do. And I said, we need to keep that in because we need to show this is Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
I couldn't remember the sign off that I always give, which is, and remember, everybody, behave yourselves. And if you can't, at least enjoy. So I couldn't even remember that, but I said, we need to keep that in because that really does show
An
Mercury
example.
retrograde. An
Yes.
example. Back to the
Fourth house.
houses. Fourth house, home, family, foundations. It can be the family that you've created, or it can be the family that you've come from. Foundations also can, for me, refer to if you've got a home-based business. That's, you need some foundations in that too.
Can
So
also be your home. You might be
yeah,
moving. You might be selling your home
yes,
or losing your home with Pluto or
yeah,
Uranus going through the fourth.
yeah,
And so it sometimes gives you an idea this is a good time to sell or not, depending on
yes,
what's getting activated.
yeah.
Fifth house would be children and romance,
And
investments,
leadership, and leadership.
and absolutely leadership. It's the Leo house.
Yeah,
Yes.
you might suddenly be asked to be in charge of something, or you might apply for a job that gives you more leadership opportunities. So, you know, and then of course you could unexpectedly get pregnant. That is,
Because it also rules children
yeah. So it could be
and your
unexpectedly
own
getting
children.
pregnant.
There could be something going on with your
Yeah.
own children if there are transits to the fifth house.
Sixth house is health, service, work, not career, but work.
Your
Your
everyday work environment, people in your work environment. Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, health issues can come up. A couple of my clients who've got this going through their sixth house, they've had little things. They've not been massive, but I immediately say, you need to deal with that right
Well, and
now.
again, unexpected sometimes if it's
Yes,
Uranus, just
yes,
out of the
yes.
blue, there's some health concern that you had no warning about.
Seventh house relationships.
Yes.
I've got
And
a
that can
client.
be intimate, can be
Yes.
business, can be partnerships, can be the public at large.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back to Mamdani, his moon is in the seventh house. That's a
Oh, yeah.
great relationship with the public.
Yeah. And I have a client who it's going through her seventh house, and she suddenly realized she doesn't need a man to be complete. It's okay if there is a man that fits in with her life, but that is not. And she's had that sort of realization. And I said, oh, good. Pluto in Aquarius is hitting your seventh house now. Unfortunately, like I told her, it's going to be going on for a long time. So you might have some more realizations about relationships. The eighth house are other people's money. This to
Yes.
me is your intimate relationship with your partner,
Yeah.
and also psychology.
Yeah.
Um, and
And
this
relating
rules,
to death and dying.
yes,
And
that's
also
inherited.
mediumship. People who have planets in the eighth house often are good mediums. I think James von Prague has 5 planets in the eighth house.
Wow.
Yes.
Um, ninth house, your beliefs, long distance travel, higher education. You might unexpectedly go back to school. You might unexpectedly change your belief systems. You know, you might go for Thanksgiving with your family, but you've changed a belief system since you've seen them, and they're all shocked by the things you might say. Don't know which, you know, it doesn't matter which way it is or what you say, it'll be the changes that maybe
Of a
you have seen. Yeah, of a
philosophy.
philosophy or a belief.
Yes.
And you could also be telling them all, I've quit my job and I'm going back to school.
Or
Or I'm
I've
going
joined the Peace
to Peace
Corps.
Corps. Yeah. Or I'm going to live in Portugal for a while. All
Yes.
of those things are possible. The 10th house is your career and also your public standing.
Yes, your profession.
You
And
know,
how you're seen professionally in the world. You're, like you said, you're standing in the world.
yeah. And that's what it's going through mine right now in my 10th house. So I think one of the reasons that my being said to start making more videos was because I needed a change.
Yes.
And I'm also going to start writing for a newspaper and doing the weekly
Column.
astrology for them. Yeah. So again, that's the Aquarius energy in the 10th house, which is, I haven't done that for a long time, but
Well, even
okay.
doing this, why now, is very Aquarian in the 10th house.
It's very Aquarian 10th house, isn't it? Let's do something unusual. And then, of course, as many of you are watching this, I also do a series with Karen Kaig on astrology, human design, Reiki. So, which is something I wouldn't have normally done. So that's another one. 11th house, we've got friendship, volunteering.
Aquarian. 11th house is the Aquarius house.
And that's also organizations, associations,
communities.
Your tribe, communities. So if it's going through that, you might find yourself moving from one type of community to another. Maybe you live in downtown Portland, Oregon, but now you've decided you'd like to live in a tiny home in Colorado. Like, it could be something like that. And it's because there's your community. You found another community of
It's
tiny
also
home people.
friendships. You could find new friends or lose old friends, shift in.
Yeah.
Again, who's in your inner circle, so to speak.
Yeah. And the 12th house, that is your intuition, your psychic abilities. I always see that as your ability to, and the 8th house as well, your ability to connect with something greater than spirit that's greater than you. But we also have to remember, it is delusion and illusions. This is where conspiracy theories.
It's also hidden things. Hidden things. What's at the bottom of the lake?
Yes.
And it rules dreams and meditation and hypnosis and those kinds of tools that help you expand your intuition as well.
Yes.
So I have clients that when I see Jupiter going through the 12th, I always say, oh, good time for therapy, because you can have many insights. Keep a dream journal, because your subconscious may be giving you information that would be helpful. 12th house.
Absolutely.
So looking at where Pluto and Uranus are transiting, what houses are going through, and what contacts they're making with planets in your chart will give you insight and information that could be helpful.
Absolutely. If you'd like to contact me for a consultation, my Dawn astrologydawn.com is my website, and my telephone number 520-419-5419. And Catherine, if you'd like,
you can find my website at innerknowing.net, and Dawn and I also have a website called intuitivepathfinders.com, where we recorded 13 podcasts and about intuition in particular, how to develop it, suggestions for tools, resources. So you might check that out at intuitivepathfinders.com.
And the different kinds of intuition that you might be experiencing as well, because there's not just one. So please go listen to that.
And pay attention to the headline news, and we will too, and give you our update on what astrological activator is in charge.
Until then, we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Bye.